Gulliver lands in Lilliput, and boom, he's tied up and they're planning to gift wrap him for the king. Then, out of nowhere, a loud roar, a slight flex, and the Lilliputians are flying, scrambling for cover like ants in a rainstorm. Here comes a Lilliputian general, poking at him with what might as well be a giant toothpick. What's next? The Lilliputians get crafty, throwing giant iron hooks, yanking down his pants like it's a prank show. Spoiler alert.
Unlucky.
Gulliver hits the deck, out cold. He wakes up on a royal road trip, headed to the palace with a Lilliputian fan club you wouldn't believe. At the palace gates, they prop him up, and Gulliver's towering over buildings. Plot twist. The enemy swoops in, kidnaps the princess. But here comes Daniel, hitting the big red button, freeing Gulliver from his chains. Right as the villains think they've got a royal victory surprise, a giant head pops up. A giant appears outside the castle, and just like that, the enemy's swimming lessons begin, courtesy of a Gulliver toss into the water. No sooner had the princess been rescued than the alarms blare again. Turns out, the palace is on fire, with the king trapped inside. Gulliver races to the scene, but with the flames raging, it seems all hope might be lost. In a last-ditch effort to save the king, Gulliver resorts to, let's call it an unconventional firefighting method. Sure, it's a bit unconventional, but it beats the heat, bringing the flames under control. The general tries to intervene, but Gulliver, turning around, ensures not a drop is wasted in every sense of the word. The general's about to explode, but plot twist. The king promotes Gulliver to head honcho of the military. This doesn't sit well with the original general, who, in a fit of jealousy, sneaks off to turn off Lilliput's defense system, aiming to set Gulliver up for a fall. Cue the enemy kingdom spotting their chance and launching an attack. Then, dozens of cannonballs are flying towards the palace. With enemy ships on the move, the king's getting antsy and calls for Gulliver. Shirtless and fearless, Gulliver strides towards the enemy, ready to face them head-on. Dozens of cannonballs bounce off Gulliver's 5-meter thick layer of, let's call it natural armor. But with a belly that plays ping-pong, he whooshes the enemy into oblivion in a blink. Gulliver then hauls the entire enemy force back, earning him the title of Grand General and his face plastered on every poster in town. Meanwhile, the former general loses not just his title, but also his fiancée's hand in marriage. Gulliver's arrival turned his world upside down overnight, leading him to defect to the enemy kingdom with a scheme to defeat Gulliver. Soon, a giant egg appears before Gulliver, housing none other than the disgruntled former general. In a flash, the egg transforms into a robot, towering over Gulliver and sparking immediate fear. As Gulliver contemplates fleeing, he's effortlessly picked up, surrendering on the spot. In prison, Gulliver encounters his goddess, who, in her quest to find him, has inadvertently stumbled into Lilliput. For her sake, Gulliver vows to the king beside him to vanquish the former general and reclaim the lost kingdom. It's a showdown between men, fueled by the presence of a goddess. Gulliver, spurred into action by her gaze, launches the first strike. Yet, his opponent, forged from steel, quickly overpowers him. A jolt of 100,000 volts from the robot sends Gulliver reeling, all under the watchful eyes of the goddess. Surrender? Not an option. Unexpectedly, as Gulliver teeters on the brink of demise, electrified into unconsciousness, a Lilliputian in a BMW races under the robot, climbs a rope, and infiltrates its innards. As the robot's fatal blow looms, its arm halts abruptly, thanks to the Lilliputian severing the power cable. Seizing the moment, Gulliver delivers a flying kick that sends the robot tumbling. He then grabs a stone statue, mounts the robot, and unleashes a barrage of punches. In the end, Gulliver pulls the robot's transformation device, reverting it to a giant egg. Thus, Gulliver not only vanquishes the villain, but also wins over the goddess.